Hi, it's Scott, ROCKFILE, back with another podcast discussion. Let's talk about what's going on with DJI, the world's largest drone maker, the U.S. Customs Service, and me. In the drone community, there's a pretty big thing going on, and I'm going to talk a little bit about it from my perspective, what has actually happened to me dealing with DJI while all this is going on nationally. To give you a little hint of what's going on, DJI is the largest drone company in the world. I fly drones recreationally. I've gotten into photography here in Alaska. I'm flying overhead of beaches and mountains and trees, and I'm really enjoying learning flying. I got into it back in January. Here we are at the beginning of July. I'm getting pretty good at the two little drones I have anyway. So DJI owns 80 to 90% of the entire market in the world. If you fly drones, typically you fly a DJI drone or have one in your collection because they're that good. There is no anything else in the world I can say that's anywhere close. It'd be like Apple versus Android. Apple is one company and Android is everybody else. If Apple had 80 to 90% of the world market, imagine that. And it's because their founder is just a dude who really got into robotics and drones when he was in college and figured out how to do things before everybody else. And what they have consistently done during the course of their company is put the money back into research. How do they make a drone hover? They started with typical RC stuff that everybody started with, but they eclipsed because literally every dollar they made in the beginning went back into research and development. And many companies just can't do that. They have to support this infrastructure of manufacturing and everything else. Also, during the years, DJI insourced a lot of the equipment that they build. They build a lot of the drone parts. They don't farm that stuff out, like get chips from other places. They make most of everything that they sell within DJI's ecosystem, within their large multi-billion-dollar company. So that gives you a little background on how big, and this was a shock to me when I got into it in January. Short version of how I got into it, I had a tech reviewer review the DJI Neo. It's a $199 drone. It's very small. It's light. You don't have to register it. And it does a lot of selfie stuff. It'll follow you around, and you can connect a microphone to it. So I got it to vlog. I'm in Alaska. This was a good idea, but it also does a couple of other different kinds of flying, like FPV flying, which is first-person view. It also does some cinematic stuff. You can use a controller with it. And so anyway, I experimented with the other things and got into FPV flying, and I now have a DJI AVATA 2, which is about a $450 drone, and you wear goggles to fly it with a motion controller or a FPV controller, and it's a kind of a different thing. It's a more serious version of that FPV, but still not full-blown FPV. That's a whole different genre of drone flying that I haven't got into yet. My whole idea of getting into drones is the photography part of it. I love shooting video and pictures at altitude or going fast through a forest or something. I'm just really digging that part of it. And there's a lot of people like me out there. I'm in several drone groups and worldwide groups, and that's how I first found out about what's going on. So obviously, and this is not anything political, you know about the tariffs and everything. And when those were being put into place, DJI, like a lot of foreign companies, were affected. DJI at that time, the price raised on a few of the items, like the batteries for my drone went from $120 to $199, or $129 to $199, which they're still at, but much has happened since then. So in May, DJI debuted their latest, most expensive, most advanced prosumer drone, the Mavic 4 Pro. It costs, just the drone itself is about $2,600, $2,700. And if you get the controllers and the extra batteries and everything, you're talking $3,600, $4,000. It's not a cheap thing. Well, they put this on sale in every country in the world but the United States. Because at the time, the tariff thing was upside down, and they weren't sure what was going to happen. And who's going to pay, if they're paying $3,000 for a drone, who's going to pay $6,000 for it at the time? Anyway, a lot of that's changed, but things started changing at that point. Well, a couple weeks ago, DJI pretty much stopped selling drone parts and anything, accessories, in the United States. If you go to the DJI website from the United States, you get everything is sold out. Nothing. You can still buy action cameras, gimbals. They do some other things, but anything related to drones are pretty much not being sold. Now, I'd heard in some of the groups and on some of the videos that I watched that DJI was having trouble getting things through customs. Drones were getting turned back around to their company, and they were having to refund the people because they couldn't get the drones to them. This all sounded strange because if you know anything about what's going on, back in January, one of the executive orders was that DJI, and they were singled out, was going to have to do some kind of security interview to continue selling drones in the United States within a year of that executive order, or they would be banned outright. So for the last 6 months, DJI has been begging for that. They, in years past, have already complied with certain security things, like no information over here gets to them unless I allow it. And I'll tell you exactly how that works in just a second. So anyway, we are over 6 months now into this executive order, and still no security thing has happened, but also no ban has happened. Like DJI has been free to, with tariffs and everything, still operate, right? So I kept seeing stories of DJI is refunding me. I didn't get my drone that I ordered. I didn't get my Care Refresh. They even this week stopped doing the Care Refresh thing, which is their warranty. When you buy a drone, you can pay an additional fee for a year or two, and you get a very much reduced rate to get a replacement if you were to crash the drone or it were to fly away or something like that. So anyway, long story short, they've stopped doing that in the United States either because they can't do it in the United States. So how does this, these are all things that I've read. These are all things that are factual. You can look all of that information up. Now, here's my part of it. While all of this is going on, during the tariff situation and everything, I was having trouble with my original drone, the DJI Neo. It encountered some kind of electronic or electromagnetic interference and flew off and crashed. And they really needed to see my flight data. Once I finally got my Care Refresh situation going where they contacted me back and were communicating, you pretty much talk to them every day. It's not like they let it go, which is pretty impressive. I've dealt with them on some questions before, but never on something like this. And I wanted to know how it ran, and so I, got into details with them and whatever. So anyway, they have software that will get the data off my controller or my drone, and I can upload it to them. But it's a significant amount of data. And here in Alaska, we have pretty slow upload speeds. So one of the files I tried to upload them was 1.5 gigs. I don't know that they ever got the whole file. After 2 times of trying to upload through Dropbox the flight data, they said, all we can suggest is that you send us your controller and we will get the flight data off of it. It's like, okay. See, it's pretty difficult for DJI to get your information. They've been cut off from it. This was a security thing they did a long time ago. So they paid, they sent me a label, and I shipped my controller to them. It took a couple days to get to them, and this came to DJI tech support in California. So it only took a couple days to get there. The day it arrived, because I saw the tracking, they got it out. They got the flight data off of it. They sent me a detailed report on what happened and their conclusion, and then immediately shipped the thing back to me better than I shipped it to them. None of this cost me a thing. And what they figured out was there was some kind of electromagnetic interference of where I was flying. And I was flying near a radio tower, but I had flown there before and hadn't had interference. So anyway, going back and forth with tech support, they sent me a much reduced rate with my Care Refresh, and they were just going to send me a new drone, because there could be problems with the onboard compass and all that. And once you get into shipping this stuff back and forth, it's a $199 drone. It's not worth it. So they were just like, if you'll pay the Care Refresh fee, which is minimal, we'll send you a new drone. And so I did, and the next day they shipped out a drone. I was thrilled. This is great customer service. So I'm still hearing these stories of drones getting turned around, and I'm tracking mine. This came from DJI Service in Canada, and it was marked repair return. Not a sale, but a repair return. Well, for a couple of days, it traveled across Canada and then got turned around at the border last Friday. A week ago Friday, UPS, or it was FedEx. The only reason I knew I was getting this in the first place, I didn't hear that I was getting it. I didn't get a shipping notification from them. I just got the documents from FedEx that DJI Care was sending me a repair return. It was coming from Ontario, Canada, or whatever. The value, the tariff value, everything. There was even a big note on there that DJI would pay any other fees or tariffs that happen en route and that kind of thing. I was really not paying anything more than the slight fee I paid to get this. But Last Friday, it was turned around with no reason given, just cannot be delivered, return to sender. So I thought about it all weekend, and I thought about doing this podcast. It was honestly going to be a pretty negative podcast, right? And whatever's going on to keep DJI drones out of the country is illegal. It's a shadow ban. Nobody has announced anything. And I found out on Monday, DJI doesn't know either. So Monday I get a call. I get a call from California. I answer it. I don't usually answer strange calls, but it's DJI Care Refresh. They want to know if I got my drone and had I powered it up and how are things going. I said, well, I guess you haven't seen the tracking. No, I didn't get my drone. It was turned around Friday. Again, this is Monday. It was supposed to arrive Monday, or it was supposed to arrive over the weekend. By the way, if you've made it this far into the podcast, there is a video component on YouTube. I'm going to take a lot of my old footage and make a nice, beautiful video to watch while you're listening to me babble about drones. So if you don't want to listen to the whole thing, but maybe you want to watch a cool video, it'll be up on YouTube shortly after this posts on my usual podcasting channels. So the care report or the care support person says, did you get your drone? And I was like, no, I didn't. And she was literally shocked on the phone. You could hear in her voice that, really? And I was like, yes, I can show you tracking. She said, just a moment. She tried to pull up tracking and couldn't through her internal system. I said, well, I took a screenshot of what happened if you'd like me to send it to you. She sent me an email from their internal service. I sent her back a screenshot. Later that day, I got an email that basically said, we're working on it. Thank you for your email, and we'll get back to you. So this was Monday. Tuesday morning, I get an email from DJI. Thank you so much. You and many others have encountered some kind of problem getting our drones. We are investigating the problem and also trying to find a solution. Thank you for your patience. Sincerely, Sam at tech support or whatever. And I was like, one of the best things about their tech support is they communicate with you. They don't just, here's a tech support response and then wait a week to get another response for them. Every day I'm at least I get an update that we don't know anything, but we're still working on it kind of update. And that was kind of what this was. I was like, all right. Well, did you know 3 to 4 hours later, I got a UPS notification that I was getting a DJI package from Texas? This was Tuesday. Monday they found out that my package was turned around. Tuesday, they're sending me a new package. I don't know what it is. I just know that I have a UPS notification that I'm getting a package from DJI in El Paso, Texas. Okay, I'm tracking. It's coming along. Tuesday night, I'm pretty happy. I'm going to record this podcast, and I'm like, this is turning into a better story. They couldn't get it to me from Canada. I guess they had some stock in Texas. DJI's making it happen. Right on. Because I've seen reports that DJI's just throwing up their hands and refunding you. And I didn't really want my little fee refunded. I wanted a new drone, really. Not to be that guy, but it's only $200, but anyway. So here's where things get really weird. That was Tuesday evening. I get this UPS notification, and I've been tracking it. It was actually in Anchorage yesterday on the 4th of July. I could get it as early as today. I'm recording this on Saturday, July the 5th. So Wednesday, July 2nd, I get a second UPS notification that I'm getting a package from DJI in Texas. And I do the tracking and I look up the number. It's a second package. Like the first package is already on its way and farther down the road. It's made it through Memphis or whatever. There's a new package coming. I have no idea. I've got no shipping notifications from DJI other than the things from UPS. I'm sure they're going to wait until the packages arrive before they contact me to see if I'm happy, but I have no idea what's in the second. I don't know what's in the first package. I don't know what's in these packages, but I'm getting 2 where I should be only getting 1. So I will do a follow-up to this podcast. This is all to say that there's some things going on with DJI and customs, and there's a lot of hearsay and whatever. This is what's actually happened with me. I've heard about the bans, I've heard about the refunds, but DJI has found a workaround to get me whatever they're getting me, and I'll let you know when it arrives. Pretty thrilled with their customer service, pretty not happy with whoever decided at customs that DJI was going to get some kind of shadow ban because, well, there's been no official word from anyone. Even DJI doesn't know why this is happening. That doesn't make any sense. And honestly, there are a few, if you don't follow the Pilot Institute or some of the other more quote-unquote official UAS drone sites, they are investigating. And if it comes down to like one person just decided this, there will be a campaign. There will be, we will make that person famous or whatever, because this is a little ridiculous. Imagine if it was your favorite cologne or your favorite food item or your favorite car or whatever, and all of a sudden the company, or say an iPhone, you want the new iPhone, and Apple all of a sudden can't sell in the United States. They can't get the phones here. They don't know why. That's pretty serious. Now, I understand that drones are a small percentage of the world, and people who deal with DJI are the largest percentage. But anyway, I think it's kind of crazy how this all worked out. I thought you would find this to be an interesting story, and I'll give you a part 2 soon when I get whatever these 2 packages are in my hand. I'm Scott. I'm ROCKFILE. I usually do reviews and drone videos, but this was something, there's a lot of things going on in the drone community. I had some firsthand knowledge of things that actually happened with me and DJI and Customs during this. By the way, I've never heard from Customs, never heard from FedEx that the package was turned around. I had to do all this through tracking, so there's that. Anyway, thank you for liking, sharing, subscribing. Have a spectacular day, and if you fly, safe flying.